Hello, fellow coin and token aficionados. I'm back with another episode diving into the world of crypto Telegram. If you're just getting into cryptocurrencies, I highly suggest listening to the entire episode because you'll hear some great ideas for Telegram groups. Welcome to the 5th episode of the Inside Crypto podcast. This episode was recorded on August 26, 2021. Today we are joined by 𝔾𝕣𝕠𝕝𝕝𝕝, a product marketing manager here at 𝔾𝕣𝕝𝕝𝕝 who focuses on marketing strategy, grassroots community building, and incentive design. This is a mouthful, but what that means is he understands what it takes to build a crypto community and how to bring people in. If you've thought about downloading Telegram, then this episode is for you. Greg goes into the nitty-gritty about the app and its high popularity amongst crypto communities. He also gives suggestions for people like me and you of good Telegram groups to join. And as usual, we get into 3 hot off the presses news items, including Avalanche's popular yield farms, recent crypto hacks, and TikTok's clampdown on crypto influencers. Thanks everyone for listening, and don't forget to tune in next week where we interview another member of the team here and get their insights into the fascinating world of cryptocurrency. Good evening, morning, and afternoon, all you crypto investors. Welcome back to the 5th episode of our Inside Crypto podcast. It's Green as usual, and today I'm lucky to be joined by another member of the 𝔾𝕣𝕝𝕝𝕝 team, 𝔾𝕣𝕠𝕝𝕝𝕝. He's a product marketing manager who focuses on marketing strategy, grassroots community building, and incentive design. Besides all of that, he knows a lot about the crypto industry, and I'm glad he's here today. Today, we're going to be talking about the world of crypto Telegram. As usual, before we get into anything too detailed, we have to go over some introductions. But even before that, don't forget to head over to our website, www.𝕬𝕬𝕝𝕝.com, to check out the things that we offer. We've talked about them on previous episodes, so have a look there. You can read about our products DFI and DMX. You can also buy tokens there. If you have any feedback about the episode, you can reach me at korean@𝕬𝕬𝕝𝕝.com. Because it's just Greg today, we can spend a little more time talking about how he got into the world of crypto. Why don't you take it away, Greg?
Sure. To start out, I started out my career at Bloomberg. I was a product manager there, and it was a very good job, very good role. And it was a very large company. And eventually I got bored there after a while, and I just wanted to do something new and take a risk. And I just happened to end up at a crypto company. Not because I really loved crypto itself. It's just I always wanted to work for a startup, and the startup just happened to be crypto. This was around 2019. So it was right before the things got really interesting within this space. And it was throughout 2019, I was really starting to learn about crypto, the fundamentals, the basics, and things like that. And then around 2020 happened, the pandemic, and things really started to take a turn. So I was locked up in my apartment all day, nothing else to do. And the only thing I could really do was I just get into DeFi. So it was DeFi was really starting to blossom as a space itself. And it was really started just playing around with different projects. I was playing around with when Compound started launched their governance token. And then I started to see more and more projects come up, and there was just more and more opportunities out there. So it was it was actually very fun. It was I remember the days last summer where I was just spending my entire day just yield farming governance
Nice.
tokens. Yeah. And then it was just really getting more and more into just yield farming, things like that. It was still, the DeFi was still relatively new. Got into lending a bit, and then got into derivatives as well. And then I would say around the beginning of this year, it's I really started to get more into Telegram communities, I would say, in the sense that it was just, I really wanted to find access to new projects or things that I just couldn't really find on Twitter itself, or just scouring the web. And so I found a few groups itself where people were just sharing their ideas. And that's really where I've figured out, it's wow, this space is something where I really want to stay in. And it was just because the people there have are very compatible with me and things like that. And it was just I would say crypto Telegram itself, and on Discord as well. It's a very interesting space in and of itself, as far as how it operates, the way people talk to one another, the way people present themselves. And it's if you want to really make money there, it's that's where all the power users are. So it's a good way of really understanding, or just really learning about crypto and its users, is by looking in the Telegrams and Discords.
Thanks for that introduction. You definitely explained a lot. We're going to get more into Telegram in a little bit. Before we get into Telegram, so you started out at Bloomberg and you're in the crypto industry now. Would you ever consider going back to Bloomberg, or you think just crypto is just it? Or are you enjoying the startup part or the crypto part, or both of them?
I don't really see myself working for a large company ever again. I don't even know. I don't even know after 21 shares if I ever see myself working for a company again. It's really, I don't know. It's just I really love the freedom that comes with crypto, and it's not. It's really something that you can't get anywhere else. So I think it's crypto in the sense has made me more of like an independent person where I don't really need to rely on companies in order to have like a day to day lifestyle. So
Totally agree with that. That's been about the same thing for me as well.
yeah.
Okay, moving on to the topic. So you told me about this topic, touched on it a bit just now. What's so interesting about Telegram? I have to admit as well that I've never used Telegram until probably beginning of this year when I started getting deeper into crypto, and I'm like, oh, I should check this thing out. I've known what Telegram was, but never really understood its appeal. Do you want to tell people who are not Telegram users what is Telegram? Why is it so appealing? Why has it become so popular?
Sure. Yeah. So Telegram's a messaging app, very similar to WhatsApp, or I would say, yeah, WhatsApp's probably the most popular version, but Telegram in particular is the most common messaging app that people use in crypto to communicate with one another. So it gives you all the features that WhatsApp has, but I would say it adds a little bit more privacy than you would get with WhatsApp. So you don't have to display your name, you don't have to display your phone number. You can pretty much give yourself whatever name you want and give yourself whatever picture you want. The chats are encrypted, so it's I would say the biggest thing is that it's easy to use, it's free, and it gives you privacy. And that's really all that crypto users are looking for. And I would say like the biggest thing with crypto itself among its users is anonymity. Like you really have to respect people's privacy because that's a very big thing as far as like making sure that like people don't like if you find like someone's wallet address or find out like someone's real name, you never dox that person. It's like the number one rule within the space. So
Talking more about Telegram as well, like just from your intro, you said, you found people compatible with you in Telegram. Do you want to explain what do you mean by that compatibility, or why are they more compatible with you on Telegram?
I would say it's like you have to have a certain personality to interact with people in the crypto space, but particularly in the telegrams. It's I myself have a very immature sense of humor, I would say. So it's like in the sense it's like if I had to like describe what like typical crypto telegrams are like, I would say it's a very, very, very mild version of 4chan. It's like people will tend to like just make offensive jokes sometimes, like they'll post memes a lot. I don't know, they'll get a lot of stickers posting of like Pepe the Frog, things like that. I would say that's like generally the type of humor that you'll see in there. It's a lot of people just like making fun of each other. And it's like you have to have like a self deprecating sense of humor as well. So yeah, I would say that like that's like the type of like personalities that usually are in and around there. So
You mentioned Discord as well, and Discord I've been using as a gamer as well because I love games, PC games, Nintendo
yeah,
Switch games, iPad. So I was using that, and then I didn't realize Discord, of course, is not just games. It's crypto, it's music, it's tons of different communities. What's the difference between Discord and Telegram communities? Is there any difference? Is Telegram better or is Discord better?
I don't know. It's a good question because I generally prefer to use Telegram. Something just about the user experience on it. It's like I just find it easier to use for one, and but I would say Discord has its benefits as well. For example, if you're trying to collaborate with people and working on a project, it's a lot better to use Discord because you have the different rooms and like you can make sure that people talk about certain things within a particular room. Whereas you can't really with Telegram. Telegram, it's more of a like the bigger a chat gets, the more diluted it becomes in a sense. So like if you look at Binance's Telegram channel, I think it has over 100,000 users in it. It's just nonstop people posting in there. It's like stupid things. So it's I don't know. I think it's like best that so for that case, like if a chat gets really big, it's best to move it over to Discord. So
Okay. I mean, that makes total sense as well.
yeah,
You mentioned, you started off in Telegram getting into crypto. Do you remember what was the first Telegram you actually joined, or what was your first groups of
yeah.
Telegrams, or what was your experience like in the beginning as opposed to now?
My first group was so, like the first group I real so like I would do like random like projects telegrams which are good. It was just people asking questions, And I'm sure that was the type of users you were familiar with. There's just like the people asking for one token, one moon, things like that, or just people being like rude to the admins of the groups. But no, like the first like actual group I got into, I would say was back in January. Have you ever heard of the website called Dex Tools? They're the charting, so they're like the main charting platform within DeFi.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of it. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look after the show.
So they have a premium Telegram group where it's like you have to buy 100,000, or no, yeah, you have to buy 100,000 of the Dex token in order to join. And within that group, it's people will share ideas, like share trading tips with one another, and it's like really one of those like places where it's just like if you have a good idea, it's like really to your benefit to send it to you because or to send it to people in there, because in the future people will more likely send you stuff back when they find something. So it was like really one of those places where I thought it was like really cool, where people were just openly sharing things that, and like everyone was buying them to make money. They also expanded into more of a launchpad service too, so it's like they were using us to fund new projects, and we were able to like get into like the new projects would partner with Dex Tools to get into, and we would have private sales with them. And that was a fun ride as well. But that dried up a bit in the May crash. The other group I got into that I found was pretty good was Uni Whales. So Uni Whales is a analytics platform in crypto, and they have a DAO chat where you have to have hold 5,000 of the Uni Whales token. And that I find that chat to be pretty insightful as well. There's a lot of smart people in that group. There's a lot of people in there, so it's like the one thing that I learned about these groups itself is that there's people in there who are a lot smarter than me when it comes to crypto, and those are the people I usually prefer talking to when it comes to crypto. As I really just love getting their perspectives on things. So, but it's that was the other group that I got into where it's just like I'll usually go just to if I want to like ask someone just like general color on the markets or things like that.
Very interesting. I mean, you just blown my mind about Telegram.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot more experience than me. And I was like, this question is not on the list, but it just popped on my head because I have, family members and stuff interested in getting into crypto. Telegram is definitely the thing. I think that's the way I went. And what is your suggestion for new people using Telegram to get into crypto? What are the groups they should look for, or how do they find a good group like you did? Or how do they have a good experience? Or is it just Googling it? Any tips from an experienced user?
A lot of it's usually like I find out about them through word of mouth. So I say with the Dex Tools Telegram, I just stumbled upon it. Like I was lucky I stumbled upon it. And they were the ones who, like, once I got into that group, it was like I found all the other groups that I'm in by people in there telling me about them.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, it's if you're new though and you're trying to get into Crypto Telegram, it's I would say a good group to start out in is Lobster DAO. That's a really like there's actually good conversations that go on in there. Venus Queen and Friends is another good one. And that's a public group. So those are like those I would say those two chats in particular are just chats where people actually have insightful conversations. So but I would say before you actually get into like if you're new, before you actually get into Telegram, you should probably just try to learn about the space itself before you hop in.
Okay.
Because with that being said, it can be a bit of a dangerous space because there are some groups where it's just purely just pump and dumps where people just will just go in there and shill it, and the only reason why they're posting in there is they're using you as like they already have a stake in the position. They're just using you as exit liquidity. You'll also get scammers reaching out to you all the time. So it's like if you're familiar, if you're able to understand if someone or like interpret if someone's a scammer, then you probably don't have to worry about that. But usually you'll get a lot of messages where people are trying to trick you into giving them your private keys. So it's just like you really have to be like learn the how crypto works, and if you're going to be managing your own crypto, like how like the security works behind it. That's my suggestion.
That's a great suggestion as well. Definitely do your own research, do your own learning. We always say
Yeah.
that on podcasts, or not just our podcast, other people's podcasts as well. Moving on to the next question. I think this is kind of an iffy question. Do you think Telegram is the best tool, or is the only tool to sort of bring new people into crypto? Or maybe it's a bad tool. I mean, is it a tool to bring new people into crypto, or are there better tools besides that?
I would say for as far as communicating with people, it's in the sense, it's just like there's only I don't see mainstream like it becoming mainstream like the crypto Telegram ever really becoming mainstream like you would see with the Twitter or Reddit. It's really in a sense where it's just like if you can only get so much on the mainstream platforms, and if you really want to get more information or like more ideas, then you have to go a little like a step deeper. And actually, it's like the way I would say it is that like memes, so like just I'm trying to coming up with an analogy first. So it's like memes in general, they usually form on 4chan, then they make it over to Reddit, and then they make it over to Twitter, and that's how they become viral. Stuff in crypto, I would say, usually makes it over from it usually starts out in like telegrams and discords, and then usually makes it over to Twitter, and then you will make it over to Reddit, and that's how like things will blow up in the sense. So if you really want to like get in like before other people know about it or like find out things before others do, then it's I would say probably that's like really where you're gonna like find new people coming into Telegram. So
Again, with your experience, what are the good practices in the Telegram group? What are bad practices in the Telegram group?
I would say one, as I said before, it's just respect people's privacy. That's the biggest one. The other is never brag about how much money you have, because most likely the people you're speaking with are richer than you are and have most likely made more money than you are. I would say always just like be respectful of people. So like you can argue with people in a sense, but never make it personal. Like never just make personal attacks on someone is the other. And the other two is just like best practice is like don't take things too seriously all the time. It's a lot of like so like when the market's down, people will usually like cope with the losing money through humor. So they'll just post memes or just like try to find like jokes just to deal with the with the situation that they're in. So it's usually like I would say that's the biggest another thing too is yeah, just don't really take things too seriously all the time because people are just there to have fun and make money. So
Exactly. And everyone needs more fun in their life, especially with
yeah,
ongoing pandemic, lockdowns and masks and everything like that.
yeah.
Yeah, so definitely we need fun. I have a personal question about groups because I mean, when I got into Telegram, I just sort of like Googled best Telegram groups and I found like a group called Coin Signals. And I mean, it
No,
just
no,
shows, no.
no. That's like someone who's it's probably just like someone who's like sharing their trading tips, and it's like the way I see it is that like that person's just straight sharing their trading ideas, and if someone's like really that good at trading, they won't share it with you. They'll just trade on their own. So they either
Oh,
need
okay.
you to buy his like whatever he's sharing after he's already bought it, or it's just like it's probably not that good. So
Oh, that's good. All right,
yeah,
because that's one of the groups I sort of check regularly. I never do anything with it. I just look at them like, oh,
yeah.
that's interesting. Okay, that's definitely very, very good to know. Okay, last question before we move on to the news segment regarding Telegram and crypto Telegram. Where do you think Telegram is going to go in the crypto community, or is it just going to stay the same? Are there any advantages? Like Telegram has video now. Is that going to be a thing? Are we all going to be doing sort of, you know, big, huge, massive video chats on Telegram or
I don't see that being a thing. I mean, we do like we like people within our groups like we'll meet on Zoom or Hangouts, but we all have our cameras off, so that's one thing. So I don't really ever see video chats being a big thing. It's I don't know. I would say it's like generally it's like Telegram is probably like works completely fine the way it is. It's like you can it's like the platform's great. Like you can make bots to like better like improve like the users experiences in the rooms, things like that. So I don't really see it like I don't really have like there isn't really too much that the platform itself can do to really improve upon it. So
okay, no problem. And that's really interesting. You just made me realize I've got to go back after the show. I've got to go into my Telegram and remove some channels.
yeah, that's probably the biggest thing too is that it's if like if I don't like clean up my logs or my chats and for a while, I'll be in like 100 to 150 different chats that I just have to like exit out of. So I guess it would be good if they had a if you're not active in a chat for a while, it just automatically remove you. But I don't know. That's just nitpicking.
Greg, any last bits of information you want to add about crypto Telegram or crypto in general before we move on to the news?
Yeah, the one thing I would say is that if you're going to get into it, just really it might take time for you to find the right group for one, and two, it really like just know what you're doing before you get in there. So those are my lasting words.
I mean, like with anything, you said it before as well. Do your own research, due diligence, and all that
Yeah.
jazz. Okay, so we are on to a segment of the show that I like, which is about the latest news, because crypto news always just comes hard and fast, and there's so many different places, and some stuff is picked up by the mainstream, and some stuff is just what Greg said. It's in Telegrams, it's in Discords, it's in Twitter, it's in other places as well. So the first news for people who are watching the video at a later stage, we're talking about article is Can Avalanche Keep It Up? DeFi uses Russian as incentives role. This story was published, it was on Yahoo Finance, but I think they took it off CoinDesk by Andrew Thurman. Today, of course, at 9:01 a.m. I would imagine that would be American time, not Taiwanese time where I am. So, Greg, what do you think about this story? I mean, why has Avalanche grown so much, and especially DeFi and Avalanche together? And can DeFi keep up with incentives to keep people rolling in and locking in money into platforms and programs?
Yeah, so I think I mean it's good to see like Avalanche getting the traction that we just saw. I think out of all the EVM networks, I would say Avalanche probably has the best functioning platform. It's very fast, very cheap. Remains to be seen how scalable it can be. But for the most part, I would say it's like they just never really focused on marketing. They're really just focusing on making a very good product and kind of neglected the marketing aspect, which is I would say it's probably the opposite of what Polygon did. Although Polygon's network is still, I mean, it works, but Polygon took a huge emphasis on the marketing, which is why they were able to get so many users when they did, while Avalanche didn't. So I would say getting the likes of Sushi, Curve, and those names onto the platform will be big in the sense where it's like it will get users to come over because there will be money to be made. The thing is, though, is that what's the plan after that? Because the yields will dry up and people will just probably move back to wherever there's going to be money to be made. So I think the biggest thing with these platforms, specifically the layer one, layer two, whatever you want to call them, side chains, is that there needs to be projects building on it that are not just clones of what we're seeing on Ethereum. And I would say now, from like what I've seen so far, Solana's probably has like the most interesting set of projects going on there.
I mean, when you see projects that are not just clones of those that are on Ethereum, are you thinking like NFTs, or what kind of projects are you thinking of?
So it's just generally like, yeah, NFTs are one. It's like making a project where you can mint NFTs on Avalanche. It's nothing new in a sense. Like we see it every day on Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain and Polygon. Even then, it's just like something where it's just like, I don't know, you go to a website. It has just a fork of the old Sushi Swap UI. You buy the token, provide liquidity, stake it for six-figure APYs, and it's just things like I really would like to see things other than that happen within these spaces. So like something's just general things that are interesting going on other than just traditional AMMs, lending. That's really my take on it.
Okay, no problem. Just one thing to clarify, because we try to explain things here, and you mentioned a term EVM. Do you want to explain to layman people what is EVM?
So it's Ethereum virtual machine. It's basically the networks are compatible with Ethereum, so they're programmed within the same language, and it's easy. So like if you're building something on Ethereum, it's very easy to also build it on the other networks such as Binance Smart Chain or Polygon.
Nice, definitely compatibility is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we're moving on to the second story. The second story is from the BBC, Real Victims of Mass Crypto Hacks That Keep Happening. This story, of course, as well, is today. It was written by Joe Tidy, cyber reporter, 13 hours ago. It talks about taxi driver Chris is obsessively checking his phone. It's about the Liquid Global hack that happened last week. One of the many hacks, or I don't know if you'd call it many, but one of the hacks of quite a few hacks that have happened in the last few months. We talked about security last week and with Ellie as well. What's your take on crypto security, exchanges? How can people be safe? Can you be safe? What's your take on security in crypto?
I think as the old saying goes, if it's not your keys, it's not your coins. So I never, so like the way I view it is that I never, ever, ever trust a centralized institution to hold my funds. That's just the way I'm programmed. So always my advice to people is buy a ledger, buy a hardware wallet, keep your funds in there. And if you're going to use a crypto exchange, move the funds on there for 10 minutes if you want to convert it to fiat. So otherwise there's no point, there's no purpose of keeping your money on an exchange for these types of reasons. So
Okay.
it's either that or they can freeze your assets at any time if they feel like it. It's I generally prefer and I'm more at ease when I actually have control over my own coins.
I have a question about hardware wallets because I've seen a few like Trezor and Ledger, and they support a limited number of coins. So that how do you put all your coins in a hardware wallet, or do you just convert the smaller coins into bigger, higher market cap coins?
So I would say like most of my portfolio is in the bigger coins in a sense. It's like I would say 50% of it is like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, like the large caps. I do have some of it in like USDC, which I hold in a ledger. The rest are like the obscure coins, probably make up a very small portion of my portfolio, and I'll keep those in a software wallet. So
Okay.
it's yeah, so it's like you can have multiple wallets, but where you keep most of your funds, like the funds that like make up the majority of your portfolio, I strongly recommend having it in a hardware wallet. So
I mean, just for our listeners and our viewers, do you recommend a hardware wallet, or what's your experience with the hardware wallets?
yeah, 100. Like you need to have one. It's not worth the risk of keeping it in a MetaMask or a any wallet that's connected to the internet. Don't think you'll ever get hacked until you actually do. So, and when you do get hacked, it's the worst feeling. It's like a punch in the gut and you want to throw
Oh.
up. So, yeah. So I strongly recommend buying a hardware wallet and just it's a little bit more difficult to use than like the general MetaMask, but that's really like I guess that's the price to pay when it comes to being secure. So
And that's definitely worth it. I mean, without even crypto, I mean, I've gotten hacked in my life like 4 or 5 times, once living in America, 3 times living here. And it's such a pain to have to get your funds back and waiting for refunds. Just like this story talks about the taxi driver. Spent a lot of his savings, or a majority of his savings, put it in the exchange, and he just lost his money, and he's waiting to get it back. And that's an unfortunate story.
yeah, I mean the way I see it though, it's I view I don't know, I think hacks are part of the game in a sense where specifically in DeFi, like if you're putting your funds in a smart contract, you are understanding the risk that it could be hacked. So if you decide to put everything in there, that's not a smart decision. So if you get hacked, then you have to accept the consequences. So it's a very I don't know. I think like hacks, exploits, rug pulls, all that's part of the game. It's just you have to like just be vigilant and always be paranoid.
I like that. Always be paranoid.
Yeah.
Roland said something last week that I thought was really nice. He was like saying that, now in crypto, in DeFi, organizations, companies, DAOs are all sort of learning the tricks that the big banks sort of learned about, with physical bank robberies and security in their systems, and having multiple layers and different authorizations and all that sort of stuff, that hacks make exchanges and places more secure, maybe. I mean, is that your take on it? I mean, do you think, are we going to get to a stage where we'll just hear about one hack a year, or is it always going to be multiple hacks a year?
It's new technology. So it's people are still working on making it more secure. I would say you'll see more like the newer the technology is within crypto, the more hacks you'll see. For example, projects like Thorchain, AnySwap, those or Poly Network, you see a common theme among them is that they're cross network bridges. So this was something that just got started building on this year. So hackers were preying on that like a like a so it those are like the newer the technology is, the more hacks there will be. So it will take time for the space to actually get like the security that's needed in
Okay.
my advice.
All right, we're going to move on to the last story for today. This is sort of a social media sort of story, but it's TikTok changed its policies. Now, cryptocurrency inflows consider moving to rival platforms. If you're new to crypto, or if you're new to social media and crypto, this has been a story that's been developing, I think, guess since the beginning of this year, maybe even since the last year. TikTok's I think loads of people have accused TikTokers and influencers of sort of shilling Dogecoin and other Shiba Inu and all those sort of stuff. And TikTok's finally said it's enough is enough. So if you upload crypto content to TikTok right at the moment, TikTok will just automatically remove it. You just don't get a chance, and people are unhappy or angry about it. What do you think about the role of social media and and shilling coins or pumping coins, or people saying this is something you should buy? Our organizations, is TikTok right to have to regulate this stuff?
I'm actually torn on this. So I'm very against like these social media companies like banning stuff on the platforms. But in the sense but on the other hand, it like I think these like if you're buying crypto based off like what someone said on TikTok, then you deserve to lose money. It's like you're not going to find anything worthwhile on that platform. So it's there was like the craze that we saw in late April, early May with all the dog coins was like a lot of it was fueled by TikTok and I don't know, I would say like the not so much the Wall Street Bets crowd, but like a lot of Gen Zers like getting into crypto, like and promoting to their users like or their audiences like how much money they're making. So it gets people to FOMO in, which is and then like people start like buying things and like buying up the prices of coins, which is what creates a bubble. So I don't think it's good for the space when people do that.
Okay. I mean, is like you said, you sort of torn. Is there a way to have people on social media, YouTube, TikTok, that sort of stuff, to talk about crypto responsibly? Or is it sort of like up to the crowd to say, oh my God, this guy's just shilling stuff or he's promoting stuff and stop following him?
I don't know. I think it's a difficult subject because it's without censorship. It's kind of like the wild wild west where people can talk about anything. So it's like there needs to be like a fine line, and I think it's to be honest, it's like Reddit probably has the best system in place where you can downvote, where like you can leave it up to the community to downvote things if like something's like out of line. So, but then again, Reddit's had its own problems with censorship. So it's like so it's pretty much like while I am against censorship in that regard, I am not angry at TikTok for for doing this. So
All right, very cool. So we're going to end off the new segment, and just one last question, Greg, before I run off, the sort of end speech. What are you looking forward to crypto in this year? Are you excited about anything at the moment? Are you looking forward to something in 2022? I mean, what's got you excited or interested, or what are you looking forward to?
I would say the things it's like the things that I'm really looking at are for one, it's seeing how the Ethereum network takes hold, following like seeing if they can actually shift over towards proof of stake and to see how that would affect the platform. That's one thing. I am looking forward to seeing if like any developments can be made on the NFT side and seeing like if there can be like if it, like we can actually see use cases of NFTs beyond digital collectibles. And the other thing too is like I'm excited about like projects who are starting to get into the cross-chain swapping of tokens. So the Thor chains of the world, the Poly networks, the Rents, and seeing if they can actually build something that's scalable and secure. Because that's like where I find it to be the most exciting part of the space itself, is because like if something like that can be built, then you wouldn't really need a centralized exchange only to convert fiat to crypto. So
I mean, that would be wonderful. Like I said, get rid of the centralized exchanges so people like
yeah,
me can, be a little bit safer. Okay, Greg, thank you so much. I mean, I gotta say, I love the cadence of the way you speak. It's just very nice, very clear, very knowledgeable. I think it's going to be an awesome episode when this gets up or when people listen to me talking about this right now.
yeah. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
This was fun.
All right, so that's all we have time for today, folks. I and everyone at 𝕝𝕝 really appreciate you stopping by. Please don't forget to follow us on social media, Twitter at 𝕝𝕝, Telegram at 𝕝𝕝_tokens, or stop by Discord and join in the conversation. We're also on Reddit at r/𝕝𝕝_tokens. I've forgotten to mention this in previous posts, but please don't forget to leave us a review on your podcast apps. This helps push us up the algorithm. We're actually doing really, really well so far, but we want to do better, of course. Who doesn't want to get more people to listen? And we're all from different time zones, so if you ever want to stop by anywhere, there'll always be someone to chat to you. And Greg, thanks again, and looking forward to chatting to you at some point, episode 15 or episode 20 again, and picking your brain with all the knowledge that you have. It's been great.
Thanks for having me. Look forward to the next one.